Welcome, Talks and Tonics, straight talk with Jason, a modern guy, just navigating life, health, business, love, and something I'm calling right now these days at experiencecanada.life. It is day 4 of the Calgary Stampede, and if you're following along, my voice is just harsh and hoarse, and it's from all this Stampede yahooing and Stampede yelling, and probably even singing along to a little bit of singing along with this guy, my next guest here. His name is Colton Brewer. Colton Brewer, welcome to Talks and Tonics. I wanted to give you a couple of rules before we go on with the podcast. Um, there are no rules. It's called talks, right? And
Yeah.
tonics. We can drink, we can do, you cry, you laugh, you do all this shit here. You can swear, it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
So it's straight talk with Jason. But I'll give a quick intro, and Colton can tell us a little bit more about himself. But Colton, I had met. He was a busker. He still is a busker, right? You're still a busker,
Well, a
right
little
outside
bit,
of
but
Stampede.
doing more
Yeah,
performing in bars now.
yeah,
Yeah, we met
absolutely.
when I just moved here to Calgary,
Yeah,
and was doing anything to get in front of anybody for music, and
yep.
yeah, it's been quite the journey.
Excellent, excellent. And so you are, and then you participated in a fundraiser that I had last year.
Yeah.
It's an art auction kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing, fundraiser. That was also for men's mental health. So, and I am happy to welcome you back. And I'm happy to, say, what, this is Colton Brewer. He's been doing some great work in the music scene here in just a year of being here. He's from the East Coast. That's as far as I know. But Colton, as an artist and musician, tell us a little bit about, or tell our listeners a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm a country music artist, originally from just outside of Fredericton, New Brunswick, in a little town of Zealand, New Brunswick, and decided to pack my bags and come out to Alberta, where it's they call Alberta the Nashville, or some call it Texas of Canada. So
Yep.
I mean, it's the place to be for country music, and being a country music artist and wanting to elevate my career, this is the best place to do it in Canada. With the next step being move to Nashville, which right now working on getting that P2 visa and the green card,
Okay.
and then I'll be taking off down there where I have a bunch of people to write with and places to play, and waiting to have some meetings coming up here soon with a super good booker by the name of Andy Morris,
Nice.
he's worked with Elton John
Wow.
and millions of others. Like,
Yeah.
he's the guy for down there. So super hyped. So
Excellent.
that's going to elevate things even more. But I mean, through the music, there was
Yeah.
always some journeys, some good, the bads, and the uglies, and
Absolutely.
even before, coming back into country music, I did a little hip hop and pop production, which
Really? Huh.
that helped me sort of get sober,
Okay.
actually, and turn my life around and get back into the music scene after fighting the battle of addiction.
Battle of addiction. Let's back up a little bit here, because I know a little bit of the story, but I don't know all of the story. Um, what I don't know what caused the hurt that led you towards addictions.
Addictions, I mean, looking back at it now, multiple things could have come into play. Like, started out volunteer firefighting for my community back home at a very young age. The Like any first responder, you see quite a lot of shit,
Mm-hmm.
and you're not allowed to talk about it. What you see stays between you and your team, and just you and the guys, and so that, and then along with that, losing my grandfather that I was super close with, and he was like the big inspiration to everything that I did, and was the reason I even got into firefighting.
Wow.
And
Okay.
yeah, after that, just stuff going on in life, losing people, losing friends, and to
True.
death, and
Yeah.
you know, not knowing how to cope with it at a young age, and falling into the side of drug dealing and
Yeah.
addiction with using, and everything from cocaine to even Xanax, and which was it was wild. But I'm glad to say, as of July 1st, it just passed year in 2024. It's 3 years since I've stepped out of that whole life, turned life back around, and gotten back into the music, which I'm glad to have.
Congrats.
And
That's awesome.
it's been a battle. It's
Yeah.
been one hell of a battle. And I mean, it's like anything, you gotta stay aware of it,
Yep.
and you gotta stay on top of it, because the moment you slack back, then that's the moment it's gonna come back and be like, hey, I'm here. It's like the good
Absolutely.
and the bad on your
Absolutely.
shoulders, right?
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
what you got the good in one ear and the bad in the other ear, trying to tell you, oh, go do this, go do this. And
Yep.
yeah, and you have to really keep it under control. But I was really thankful for he's a good buddy of mine now, but he's originally from Toronto, and he's a wicked producer. Keegan O'Geds, but he goes by Keegan on the social medias,
Okay.
and he started a little thing back home called Renegade Sound Studios
Really?
in
Okay.
Fredericton, New Brunswick. And yeah, I reached out to him and I was like, hey, like, I want to get back into the music. Told him what I was doing beforehand.
Yep.
And he's like, let's meet. Let's meet. And whatever we can do to really pull you back to doing good again, we'll do it. And we'd meet up multiple times a week and be in studio and be working with other artists, and even just be cooking up beats,
Yep.
which we would send away to have artists to record on. And,
Nice.
yeah,
Nice.
overall. And then, from there, he pushed me into doing Boots and Hearts. Boots and Hearts does an amazing program for emerging artists, which
What's
they
Boots and
put on.
Hearts?
Boots and Hearts
Yeah.
is a big festival in Ontario.
Okay.
It's coming up in August, and I entered it in 2022.
Okay.
And made it as far as top 10.
Okay.
And that was what began to spark me into the country music side again.
Wonderful.
And then that was when it was
So from
time to pack bags.
hip hop to country music, that sounds pretty familiar. The path that you're taking,
Yeah,
right? Like Jelly Roll.
Jelly Roll. Yeah,
Yeah.
and Jelly's even super open too. Like he's had a life, sort of similar to mine, but he's been in and out of the system of jails and prisons and stuff like that, which he talks openly about quite a lot, and how he overcome that battle and managed to turn life back around. And Bunny that he's with was an amazing help for him. Like that girl turned his life around.
Yep.
And got him whipped right back into shape.
Nice.
Which was nice to see. All it takes is you got to surround yourself with new people most of the time.
100%.
And
Yep.
like they say, you're the average of the top 5 people you spend the most time with, right?
Mm.
So you got to really focus on, like, who are the top 5 people you're spending time with? Exactly. Are they doing and going places that you also want to be, or are they holding you back and dragging you back?
Yeah. It's addictions is just it's something. Well, we're talking men's mental health as well. So it's such a wide range of topics that could be talked about. It, like you mentioned, where how you started down the addictions route was through your firefighting. Like PTSD is a huge thing, bro. Right? And PTSD is a lot of first responders go through that, and now they're actually doing and the therapy with mushrooms. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm actually learning to be a guide there because I've done the treatments a couple of times as well for my PTSD or whatever it would be diagnosed as my PTSD. As a nurse, I've seen lots of stuff too. As and that's kind of crazy stuff. But then also in personal life, you lose and you lose stuff, right? So personal loss is huge, and you kind of like okay, you want to self medicate, and so you look, you go to the bottle, right? First, you start off with the bottle, then you start off with weed. Great, let's try a little bit of weed, and then you go down even harder drugs, which is it's an easy slippery slope to come down. So I'm happy to hear it's 3 years now. You said you're staying clean.
Yeah.
So staying clean and is that by definition is you're not drinking anymore?
So it's like sort of like Cali soberish, I guess they call it.
Yeah.
So I still use psilocybin.
Okay.
I tried multiple different ways of getting clean off of my addictions to cocaine and
Okay.
everything, with going to NA meetings, going to NA and AA meetings,
Yeah.
and multiple other programs. But I found being around the people and like talking about it 24/7 didn't, like, it would never get it off your mind.
Yeah.
So then when you left, all that stuff that you talked about in the meeting was just on your mind. So then it's on your mind 24/7 when really you want to focus on getting it out of your mind and out of your thoughts. So then you're
100%.
not thinking about it. So then it makes it easier. And really the big thing is you got to take it day by day. So then I had a buddy of mine show me a bunch of studies on psilocybin.
Okay.
And psilocybin mushrooms, they're super amazing. And a lot of countries, and I think even a couple of provinces in Canada now, has legalized them for medicinal purpose.
Absolutely. BC
Because
has, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Even here in
BC's on it.
Alberta, it's just, it's almost, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they basically give your brain like a reset, like
Mhm.
a nice fresh start reset. And it's good to, not overdo it, but like every so often, if I feel like, hey, I need a reset,
Yeah.
then it'll be okay. Let's do it. And it's like a spiritual journey too.
Absolutely, yeah.
It is, and it really helps you like center yourself and get you, make sure you're focused on the path that you want to really go towards. Yeah.
So, I'm following along the story in my mind, and can we almost say that music has brought you out of you know your focus on music has kept you out of trouble, right? And I think in the year of being here in Alberta, you've you left New Brunswick, came here for a new life, and musically you've been making some moves, man. You have been making some moves, and this is from last year to this year's Stampede. Like you have some gigs. So tell us what kind of gigs you had over the last. It's day four. Like like
Yes, it's day
tell us about
four
that.
now. So we just
Yeah.
got done. Friday was the first day, Friday, July 5th,
Okay.
for Stampede. So we kicked off Whiskey Rose, me and the band, and we played there 8 o'clock to 11 that night.
Yeah.
And it was a wicked time, amazing time. And it's always a good time at Whiskey Rose. It's the second time playing there.
Yep.
And you've even mentioned about, like, we got to sit down and figure out some more dates to come back again.
Awesome.
And then the next morning I was up bright and early because had to go and play at Boots, or not Boots, Bottle Screw
Bottle Screw
Bills.
Bills. Yeah.
Bottle Screw Bills,
Yeah.
which that was the first time in there, and it's a nice spot. They got the biggest taps, actually. They're the most beers on taps, I guess, in Alberta or in Canada. One or the other.
I don't know. There's a couple other places that would probably challenge that right now, but
Yeah.
they're one of the first to
Yeah.
actually have a whole
And they
bunch.
do a
Yeah, absolutely.
passport thing where you can drink beers from all over the world
Oh,
on
no
their
way.
taps and stuff.
I didn't even
yeah.
know that part.
And it's a pretty interesting spot.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was really thankful to be playing in there. And
Yeah.
and then we've been doing some stuff here too at CAX and playing some music here. And
Absolutely.
then tonight we're on the way to the BMO Center for Window on the West. And then got a couple days off. Or actually, tomorrow night we're doing the men's mental health wine and steak
Yeah.
dinner.
And that's
And going to
yeah.
be raising funds for men's mental health and
Absolutely.
raising awareness for men's mental health as well. And then Saturday the 13th, I'll be back at Bottle Screw Bills
Okay.
as well.
Amazing. You've got sounds like you're lined up pretty good for Stampede this year. But you'll probably be looking for other opportunities if they come by. And when you're not booked, what are you doing? Like, and like, are you busking?
When I'm not booked,
Yeah.
it's a little bit of everything from networking. Like, networking is a huge
Yep.
play in everything that you do in life. So it's always networking, showing up to other shows and meeting other artists, which opens up the doors to songwriting, collaborations, and stuff like that. And just building connections, right?
Yep.
And building that network wider. And yeah, at times, sometimes it's fun to just go out and play music on the side of the street and entertain the people as they walk by. And if I'm gonna play music in the house, why not go outside and play it for all the others to hear.
Absolutely,
And
absolutely.
yeah, at least then, you're making somebody's day.
And especially here at Cax Bar and Podcast, we are just right on the route towards Calgary Stampede, and you can see the patio as you're leaving downtown, which is crazy. And then everybody's trying to get parking everywhere. There's tip for parking: park right across from Cax on 10th and McLeod here. There's a huge parking space there, right? And you don't, and then you just walk on over, right? I've been saying that CAX is my Stampede headquarters for this year, and thanks to these guys here at CAX, they've made everything possible for me to, say, bring groups together and people together, and we start our Stampede here, and then we end our Stampede nights here. And that's the rule that I stuck to. So I get people. I was like, "Oh, where are you going to be?" You know what? You meet me at CAX. It's the easiest place. Like parking's there, and then we can go wherever we want from here because you can access. It's like 2 blocks away. The Stampede, right?
Yeah.
And then just up the street here, there's a whole bunch of other venues up the street there. Like this is Stampede City, but this is like I'm calling this Stampede headquarters right here for me. And then I finish off my night here, and everybody that's been listening and watching, I'm big into this drink, the Shaft, right? And you just had one there, and I think you had one yesterday. Was that your first Shaft? You've had them before.
That's first Shaft. Yeah.
The first Shaft. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So shout out to Hendo. There, you haven't met him yet, but definitely I'll have make sure that you meet this guy.
Yeah.
This is I would say the birthplace of the OG uh, shaft on draft. Am I getting that right? I don't know. We'll figure that out. But yeah, and he's an amazing guy. He's got at Cowboys. He's got Shaft the Shaft Shack, right? And that was like the busiest spot for shots. You had the tequila. I was there the other day, and you had the tequila stands. You had everything else. It was a Shaft Shack that was the busiest. They couldn't keep up. Actually, in fact, I contacted him the other day. Was it Saturday? Yeah, and he didn't contact me at all. And then Sunday, I'm like, dude, are you alive? He's like, yeah, I actually had to jump at the behind the bar and serve all his drinks. So amazing entrepreneurial story there. And as an artist, you want to partner and partner and brand yourself the way that guys like these guys have, like Cax has, and Hendo and Shaft. But enough about the Shaft. We're talking lots of Shaft here. I wanted to ask you a little bit more about you know artists that you want to work with here in Alberta.
Yeah.
Right? This is it, you said it earlier. This is like or I think it's Calgary is definitely the Nashville of Canada, and some people from Toronto will probably say no, no, no. I was like, no, you know what? Okay, Toronto, you can have hip hop, right? Country music lives here, and we even have like the Music Hall of Fame there, the King Eddie, all
Mm-hmm.
those different places. Plus, we have the Music Mile,
We do.
right? And which speaking of that, you write your own songs, right?
I do. I
Okay.
do.
And how many songs are you working on these days?
For right now, we've got. I've been writing with a bunch of writers, like my buddy Jeff Catto, that's here.
Okay.
He's a local
Yeah.
local artist as well, and writing with tons of other songwriters around Canada and U.S.
Okay.
And we're sitting on about 50, 60 originals
Okay.
that I've written or co-written.
Yeah.
And then even a couple of pitches too. We've got a couple of pitches that came in from Sony's Publishing Nashville,
Oh wow. Okay.
and which I'm pretty hyped about.
Yeah.
Especially one of them called A Little Bit Longer came from an artist. Well, he's an artist now after his song Wild as Her took off that he wrote with Morgan Wallen and a few others.
Okay.
His name's Corey Kent, and very fortunate to have that song and to soon be releasing it out. I think the plan for that is in the fall.
Okay.
If I'm correct, it's going to be like mid to late fall time.
Nice.
That's when that'll come out.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, I'm going to suggest, um, because this year last year I was a judge for um, the arts and the music um, contest, songwriting contest for the Chuck Wagons. It was a hundred. It was the 100th anniversary of the Chuck Wagons. So I was actually the judge, one of the judges for that last year, and um, and that just you know got me into the whole thing. I love music, and I wanted to support local musicians and local artists. So I signed up to be a judge for the YYC Music Awards. So the YYC Music Awards, if you Google that, yycmusicawards.com, if you basically, I think the rule is if you've submitted a song, you've published it, and uh, do all the things that artists do, you're allowed to apply to be voted for during YYC Music Awards. So that's one of the things that I would say put on your calendar for next year. Um, and it's the artists that we get to meet all the time, and I love this. Paul Brandt, I got to meet this morning um, at his breakfast. He has a fundraiser called "Not My City," not in my city, and
Yep.
it was basically um, supporting the efforts of um, child, sorry, not child, human trafficking. And I'm going to get Paul here, next week or something because he's so busy with Stampede. But it's guys like those that you want to connect with. Paul Brandt, he's the Alberta guy, right? He's the musician. He's Alberta. But even more importantly than that is I'm a nurse, he's a nurse, and that was our connection, right?
Nice.
I think he was like 2 years ahead of my nursing school when I was in nursing school, and he did that, and then we got to chatting a little bit, and he had this PTSD. Uh, his wife had seen what child trafficking was doing. I, I don't want to quote, but in a foreign country, and his wife had PTSD from that, and that's why they started this "Not in My City" um, um, charity movement. So want to see you and Paul potentially do some work together. We'll see,
Yeah.
right? We'll see if we can do that. Um, Stampede Day 4. Do you have any tips for any music fans out there? Where should be going to watch you?
I'll tonight you can come on out to Window on the West,
Okay.
and tomorrow night
Window on
come
the West, just for our listeners here, is basically at the BMO Center at the Calgary Stampede. It's free with admission.
Yep.
You'll see this guy on stage. You've got a 45 minute set there.
45 minutes.
Yeah.
Going on at 7 o'clock tonight.
Excellent.
Yep.
And it's at the new BMO Center.
The new BMO Center. I've
It's
never
beautiful.
been in
Have
there.
you been in there yet?
I've never been in there before.
Neither have I. I haven't had a chance to go, but you know what? We're gonna head there later, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna. I'm looking forward to actually seeing the new spots. But I've seen there's like everybody I've been talking to is saying it's not only is it the BMO Center, but it's also a huge art hall, right? So you see a lot of art around here, especially around this building here. We got the Van Gogh outside of CAX here, and over there they got all this art exhibit. So art, music is an art. You're going to be just showcasing your stuff there. And as far as tomorrow, we'll have you at the Steak and Wine for Men's Mental Health. That'll be at Cowboys Tap House in the Northeast. You'll play a little songs, and that's going to help us, raise some funds for my friend's movie. It's called Check Engine. I just had them on here a couple of weeks ago, and I accidentally promised them, not accidentally, but basically, I misquoted how much they had fundraised on their GoFundMe page, and I missed it. Like I misquoted it by $3,500. So it's my job to make sure that they get $3,500. So that's why I'm trying to raise these funds for these guys here. And then Saturday you're going to be
Bottle School Bills.
Bottle School Bills. What time is that going to be starting?
That's going to start at 12 o'clock, so lunchtime.
Excellent.
And be playing there until about 3:30, 4 o'clock.
Okay, wonderful. Colton, you know what? I know you have such a busy schedule. But I'm very, very, very thankful that you're going to be performing outside of CAX here, starting at 4 p.m. today.
Yeah.
And you know what? If you guys are just coming out of work, for those that had to work and hitting rush hour and just trying to, or even parking, enjoying all the things that are on Stephen Avenue, and you're walking to the grounds, make sure you come see Colton here at CAX. We're on the corner of 10th and McLeod Trail, right across from Cambridge College there. Can't miss it. There's a big Van Gogh statue right in front of the corner there. So let's get you up there. Let's get you all set up, and let's. I want my opportunity to sing with you again. Sound good?
Okay. Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks again for coming on.
No problem. Thanks for having
Cheers.
me. Cheers. Cheers.